Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Today I want to do something a little different. I've had a numerous number of requests for this lately, and it's something I discussed a long time ago, but I don't think I backed that video up, so I'm going to redo this. And a lot of people are asking me, what do I think about Zyzz? It's kind of an interesting question to come to me because I'm not an aesthetics guy. I am all about strength sports, powerlifting, athletic performance. And I don't mind helping guys with bodybuilding on the side, but it is not my primary focus. And me personally, I would rather be big than be aesthetic. Big and strong as fuck. So it's interesting that comes to me. And the thing with Zyzz is I have both positive and negative views of the guy, to be honest. And I think he's really interesting because this is someone who didn't actually accomplish anything in any sport or bodybuilding or anything else, and yet just through the internet, as an internet persona, he built such a massive fan base. And even now, over a year after he's died, people still love him. People love Zyzz. I do think the guy had a nice physique. I think he had an aesthetic, impressive physique by any standards. Obviously not pro bodybuilding, but I don't think that's what he was looking for. But to the average person walking down the street, they would say, wow, that guy has a fucking nice body. Just the average Joe walking down the street, I don't think anybody would question that. And he didn't mind showing it off. I think the negatives, though, the first thing that comes to mind, he used a lot of gear. His drug stacks that he had publicly admitted when he was alive, just my opinion, and I think the opinion of anyone who's heavily into gear, we just think he should have been bigger and thicker for the amount of drugs he was on. But I think by that same token, I think all of the partying and the chasing pussy and the street drugs and everything is probably what kept him from getting bigger on the amount of drugs he was on. And because he did train pretty hard, I've seen some training clips. He didn't fuck around in the gym. He was actually going at it pretty hard. And I think with the hard training and all the partying and the street drugs, he probably needed the amount of gear that he used just to recover from all of it. Because let's be honest, this guy partied his ass off, in addition to training his ass off. So he probably needed it, and I think that probably contributed to why he managed to stay so lean all the time, was stacking all that trend with the street drugs and the partying. He probably stayed in a caloric deficit 50-60% of the time, so he didn't gain as much muscle as he probably should have, but it kept him lean. And the drugs helped him preserve lean mass during the times when he was partying the hardest, so he just got leaner and more shredded. And I think the other negatives there are, I don't like the idea that it does promote that whole YOLO idea of dying young, partying hard, dying young. I don't think that is necessarily a positive message. But on the other hand, I've seen so many hundreds and hundreds of young men tell me that Zyzz inspired them to get into lifting, and even though maybe they don't agree with the YOLO lifestyle, that without him motivating them, they might not have ever gotten into training, and so that's what got them started. So when I see somebody who has made thousands of young men get up off the couch and start lifting weights, I kind of have to respect that. And that's something a lot of guys who have accomplished something in a sport haven't achieved. I know some amazing athletes, but yet they haven't motivated people to change for the positive. So you got to give him that. You can't take that away from him. And I think the one thing I actually do like, even though it probably ultimately contributed to his early death to a large degree, but it's something that just for me on a personal level that I have to respect, was that the guy just really didn't seem to care what anybody thought of him. He basically stepped back from society and said, I'm not going to let you define me. I'm going to define myself. I'm going to define my own life. And for me, when someone has the balls to do that, that type of attitude is something that I appreciate at a personal level. And I think a lot of people look up to people like that. And when you take someone like him who has a lot of charisma, because he had charisma, and you combine that type of attitude together, and it goes out to an international audience across the world, I think it's reasonable that people are going to flock to that. Because, I mean, people like that. People look up to that rebellious attitude, and the people who choose to define themselves very oftentimes obtain a hero status because so few people are willing to break out of the mold. and break out of what society tells them that they have to be, that when people do it, it gets attention. And in his case, I think the sad part is that he partied too hard. It cost him his life, and he's gone. And the real tragedy there is not necessarily that. It is tragic that we lost a 22-year-old young man, but that his outreach might have grown. And if he got 5,000 young men to start lifting, maybe if his outreach had grown, he might have gotten 50,000 or 100,000 young guys to get up off their ass and get in the gym and improve themselves. And I think it's sad that he died before he got that message across to a larger audience. And I think that's the real tragedy with it, because I think that is the most positive influence that he had in all of this, was that he got a lot of guys into the gym, which is to me something that I would love to personally do myself. I could get tens of thousands of young men to get off their ass and get in the gym. I would count that as a massive success, and he did that. So am I admiring? Yeah, I'm admiring. I'm not admiring for the physique. I'm admiring for the fact that he accomplished a goal that I personally would like to accomplish myself. So, rest in peace, young brother. Alright guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go.